Hi, I'm Mr. Willyerd. I teach art at Higley Traditional Academy, and this year I'm going to be one of your online art teachers. I am so excited to be able to create art with you this year. That reminds me, I need to go check my mailbox because I'm expecting a letter from someone very special. Come along. It's from the chickens.
Postcards from chickens, searching the world to find out. Postcards from chickens, hope we get a letter today.
Wow, I'm so excited to have finally received this letter from the chickens. They've gone out traveling the world to find awesome art for us, and this is the first postcard that I've received. It looks like it's got this picture of some prickly pear cactus, some mountains, and a sunset. Very interesting. I wonder what they're saying about it. It's a little bit hard to read because it's written in chicken scratch, but I think we can make it out. It says,
Dear Mr. Willyerd, as we left to begin our travels, we passed through downtown Mesa, and we stumbled upon these amazing paintings. Someone put them right on the side of a building. I think you call them murals. Anyway, we just love this reminder of the wonderful sights that are all around us. I wonder, is there anything that you can share with your students about the art that shows the natural scenery of Arizona? Your excellent friends, the chickens.
those chickens. I love this. I think they really hatched something here. You know, this is actually right around the corner in downtown Mesa. We should go and meet an art friend and visit it ourselves to see what we could find out.
Hi, Mr. Willyerd.
Hi, Miss Perez. Hey guys, this is the other online art teacher, Miss Emily Perez.
Hi, guys. I'm Miss Perez. I'm the other online art teacher, and I teach at Centennial Elementary School. Mr. Willyerd told me about the postcards that the chickens sent, and we're here right now in downtown Mesa to check out these murals of southwestern landscape that they were talking about in their postcard.
These murals showcase the landscapes of the southwestern desert, like right here in Arizona.
So in this landscape, I really like what the artist did with the foreground. Here we see prickly pear closest to us in the front, which tell us it's the foreground because it's larger and it's more detailed. I can see all the spines on the prickly pear cactus. When I look in the background, I see that there are these beautiful mountains. They're not as detailed as the cactus, but they're also a lot smaller. And I know for a fact that mountains really aren't that small in real life. So the further away they're going to be, the smaller they're going to be.
Thanks, Miss Perez. I like the colors on that mural as well. In this mural, in the bottom right, you see an agave plant, and that's in our foreground because of the detail that's put in there and how big it is, compared to the people that are right behind it riding those mules. You can see that the people are getting smaller as they get further away. They're in the middle ground. They're not as detailed as they would be up close or as big, but we can see them moving off in space. They're also not as small as they would be if they were in the background on that mountain. Man, those were some really cool murals we were looking at. Let's go back to the art room and take a look at some more Southwest landscapes. Welcome back to the art classroom, friends. This has inspired me. Those murals were looking so good, and I think that we are going to be able to look a little bit further into the stuff that we saw and be able to create awesome artwork about it as well. First, though, we need to learn a little bit more about what it was that we saw in those murals. Those murals featured something that we like to call Southwest landscape. Okay, let's break that down a little bit. Southwest means the southwest of the United States. That's like Arizona and Colorado, New Mexico, southern Utah, that sort of area, part of Texas, I think, as well, is the southwest of the United States. And it's got a lot of awesome features in it. There's a whole genre of people that particularly make artwork that are relevant to the Southwest only, and even people that only paint or make landscapes based off of Southwest. Now, we saw a lot of landscapes in those murals. Um, and so I want to talk a little bit about landscapes first. A landscape is a picture that features the natural scenery of the world around us. In our case, that world around us is the southwest of the United States. So that's why we're talking about the Southwest. But a landscape can also mean a picture of the ocean or a river or hills or mountains that aren't necessarily in Arizona. Okay, so a landscape can be a lot of different stuff. We're going to talk about Southwest landscapes in particular. Okay, first one, let's take a look at this one because I really like the perspective of this and how we're looking out at this one. This is by an artist named Mabel Pearl Fraser, and it's our own Grand Canyon. She painted this with very awesome colors in there and in a very unique style. I really like this landscape of the Southwest and how it looks like we are standing kind of near the edge of this canyon and looking out on it. I can tell that there are rocks that are closer to us and rocks and mountains that are further away in this picture. But this is a flat two-dimensional surface. How can I tell that? Or why can I see that? Well, it's because of something in art called space. An artist wants to create this sort of sense of space, especially if you're a landscape artist. You want to make sure that people have this feeling of things that are closer and that are further away. And understanding space helps us to do that. Now, when I talk about space, I'm not talking about outer space. I'm talking about how to place things in your picture and make things in your artwork that will make it look like it's further away from you or closer to you. Okay, let's take a look at this artwork to be able to help demonstrate that. This is by Gerard Curtis Delano, and it's of a place in Monument Valley, Utah, southern Utah over there. It was an oil paint that he did. It's very cool, but it also helps demonstrate this use of space. If you're a landscape artist, your space and your picture can actually be broken down into 3 different parts. To be able to demonstrate it, okay? Now, one of these you probably already heard before, but we're going to talk about 3 of them. The first one is called the foreground. This is the area of a picture that's seen as closest to the viewer, meaning you, whoever's looking at the picture, and where the most detail can be seen, okay? If something's in the foreground, it's going to appear possibly bigger than other things in the picture, and you'll be able to see more details. Like in the prickly pear from the mural, you can see all those little spines on there. In this picture, I can see like all of these little plants and rocks over here that I can't really see further away. So I can see more detail. The next thing to check out is the background. This is the area of a picture that's seen as furthest away. You might have already heard of the background before because it's in the back. How do I know it's in the back? Well, there's less details. These have the least details in the whole picture, meaning that I can't see all these rocks and plants that are most likely on this mountain, but I can't really make them out as well because it's further away. And an artist will paint it with not a lot of details so that they can look like it's further away from us. That's the background. Additionally, this mountain right here is probably huge, but it looks so small compared to other things. Like if I took my finger and I measured the rock there at the very front and I tried to put that up to the mountain in the back on the picture, it would look like the rock was almost as big as the mountain, but it's not, is it? It's just how the artist painted it. Size and The bigger something is, the closer it'll look. The smaller it is, the further away it'll look. Perfect for the background. The last section is the middle ground. This is the area that's not as close as the foreground. You don't see it as close, but you also don't see it as the furthest thing away. Okay, so you can still be able to see some of the details, but not all of the details. And it's not going to be something that's the biggest or the smallest in the picture. Okay, and biggest or smallest doesn't necessarily mean tallest. I can bring that up as well. So we've got those three different parts. Let me back up for you. Foreground, background, and middle ground. Those are the three different parts of a landscape that help us to see space. I can put something in the foreground, I can put something in the background, or I can put something in the middle ground, and it would be different whichever space I put it in, because the detail or the size would change depending on where I put it. All right, here's an amazing artwork by Maynard Dixon, Desert Mesa. Maynard Dixon is so popular, especially for his amazing skies and clouds that he creates in his pictures. And we're going to use this to be able to check out and practice our knowledge of foreground, middle ground, and background. Okay, so let's first start. I want you to take a close look at this picture. Can you figure out where the foreground is in this painting? Remember, the foreground is the place that looks the closest to us. It's the foremost part of the picture. And we know it's the closest because of size and detail. It's got the most detail of the rest of the picture. So where is that foreground? Take a look, see if you can trace it out even with your finger, and see if you got that. I'll give you 2 more seconds to figure it out. 1, 2, bam. All right, I've highlighted basically where the foreground is, and if you picked there down at the bottom, then you've definitely picked correctly. That is the foreground in this artwork because of the detail that we can see. All right, next, let's go to the middle ground. Okay, the middle ground, remember, is that middle point. It's not as close, but it's also not as far. Wonder where the middle ground is in this painting. See if you can point it out. See if you can even trace along exactly where it is on the picture, on the screen. See if you can figure out where that middle ground is at. I'll give you 2 more seconds to figure it out. 1, 2. There you go. There is the middle ground. Did you figure out that the middle ground included those 2 flat mountains called mesas over there? If you did, great job. All right, next, we want to figure out the last part, the background. Where is the background? Remember, the background is obviously perceived as in the back. And we know it's in the back because it's got the least amount of detail. It looks like super small even though we know it's big. How would we figure out that background? Interesting. Okay, see if you can trace around the area that you think is the background in this picture. I'll give you 2 more seconds. 1, 2. Wow, that is a lot of background. Did you trace all of that area? If you did, amazing. Great job. The background includes the little mountains down here, mesas down here, and even these giant clouds. Think about how big those clouds really would be if you were right next to them. If those were all the way in the background, how amazingly giant would those clouds be? Love it. So today we have discussed Southwest landscape and how to see space in a landscape by figuring out the foreground, the middle ground, and the background. We are going to be creating an awesome artwork next week, not this week, next week, that is based off of the information that we've learned during this week. You're going to be creating an awesome Southwest landscape based off of what we've seen here today.
And here it is. We're going to be creating
a torn paper collage of a Southwest landscape. That's going to be so cool. It looks a little bit different because just like the name implies, we are not using scissors, we're using our fingers to tear paper into the pieces for the shapes that we need. Miss Perez is going to show us an awesome demonstration of how to create this torn paper collage, just like the one you see before you here. Now, there are going to be a few materials that you should have and be ready to have. So I'll list them now. Please make sure that you have some sort of paper, of course, for collage, but you don't really need paper with pictures on it. You probably want paper with colors. It could be magazines that have colors in there, but it could also be construction paper. It could also be just white paper or lined paper. It could be scrapbook paper. It could be painted paper, paper that you've colored yourself to be able to get these awesome, colorful designs and papers for your torn paper collage. You also, very optional, can use pencil and scissors for measuring and trimming if necessary. We hope that you enjoy this project and assignment that Ms. Perez will take you through next week. And it's going to use all the information that we just learned about today. So keep up on that and have an amazing art week.
Postcards from chickens, searching the world to find out. Postcards from chickens, hope we get a letter today.